Hi. Is that Baby Eloise? Do you see Baby Eloise in there? Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Rachel if you're new, and this is Baby Eloise, or Baby Eloise. Our kids call her Baby Eloise, which Bear has kind of transitioned over into Baby Eloise, but he says it with like a serious accent. It's like, oops. Baby Eloise is how he says it. So, it's pretty awesome. Oh, sorry. I'm at my parents' house, and I didn't bring a burp cloth, so I am using a nice blanket. So the kids all have blankets with their names on them that one of our subscribers sent, so I'll leave a link in the description below of her website if you like this and want a blanket with your name or your kid's name, any type of custom blanket. You are a happy girl. Yes, you are. And you had the hiccups. Oh man. Oh man. So this is an update on Baby Eloise. She's 1 month old. Can't believe it. I just can't believe it. So it just gets more and more fun, I think, all the time. Although I really love a newborn baby. So I'm gonna just give you some updates on what's been going on with her the last month. And I put her laying this direction because one of the things is that she likes to have her head turned to the right. So I laid her this way so that she would be looking at you guys, but apparently she wants to look at me, which I'm okay with. She obviously will turn her head to the left. It just seems like she's preferring to turn it to the right. So my aunt is a physical therapist, and she said it's fine, like they just prefer that sometimes, and as long as she's able to turn her head the other way, to not be too concerned about it just yet. I'm an eye doctor, so I'm obviously concerned about the implications of eye movement. And one of the neat things that we learned in school is that a baby, as they feed from both sides, both breasts, they'll develop different muscles and innervation to those muscles based on looking different directions from where they're fed. And that's one of the reasons they say don't feed a formula, like a formula fed baby, don't feed them always in a seat. Hold them and feed them and alternate the directions, because that's important for developing that eye muscle movement. So that was a side note. That definitely doesn't have anything to do with what I was going to talk about. Sleeping. Everybody's always curious about how she's sleeping, and she's sleeping about the same as when she first came home from the hospital. So she'll eat 3 times a night. And just depending on what time we end up actually going to bed, sometimes it's 2 times, but only because we went to bed later, basically. So she's still eating every 2 hours, and occasionally we'll do a 3-hour stint right at the beginning of the night. So, and I'm still breastfeeding her. She has not had a bottle yet. So it's all me, right, Sweet Pea? And what we'll do is Brad will take over after her 3rd feeding and hang out with her through the morning, so that I can for sure get good rest without like listening for her. Also, on the subject of eating, actually let's go back to sleeping. So we're doing the snoo at night. During the day she is sleeping in like her bassinet out in the living room, unless I like really need to get something done, and then I'll put her in the snoo. She sleeps so well in the snoo and needs quite a bit of intervention during the day. When she's like in the bassinet, I'll have to frequently go over and rock her. I have to turn on white noise for her. I have to pick her up a lot more. So I think the snoo is a godsend, and I think it's totally helping us get stretches of sleep at night that we wouldn't otherwise be getting. So I think we're going to do a whole dedicated video. We're going to do like a 24 hours or a 12-hour nighttime video with a newborn and twin toddlers. Oh, honey. And we'll talk a lot more about the snoo then. And any product that I mention in this video, I'll try to find a link for and leave it in the description box below. But the snoo is one of them, and I think we have a referral code. So if there's any % off or anything, then I'll put that information in the description box with the code. So total believers in the snoo. I think it's made our lives so much more rested having a newborn baby. So back to eating. She's gaining weight like crazy. She's averaging between a half a pound and a pound a week, which is quite a bit above average for this age. So she's up to 9.5 pounds the last I checked, which was probably a week ago. So definitely gaining weight, and she's eating around the clock every 2 hours, and unless it's more frequent than that. So she'll cluster feed for like, it was like consistently in the evenings, but now lately it's been just any old time. She'll have a little 3-hour stint where she's wanting to eat every 10 or 20 minutes. And that's like the definition of cluster feeding. So that usually means like a growth spurt or something like that. Or developmental something going on that she just needs extra comfort. So I'm trying to accommodate her and just letting her feed as often as she wants to. Basically, anytime she gets cranky or fussy, I'll offer feeding first. And sometimes she'll take it, sometimes she'll just comfort nurse, which is pretty obvious because she just doesn't. I mean, if you guys have had any type of oversupply, she basically nurses until there's a letdown and then she stops. And so then you're just like leaking everywhere. So it's kind of funny, but I will do what it takes. We have not introduced bottles yet, and I think I'm going to probably towards the end of this week. Next Friday, I go back to work. So I have a week and a half with her before I go back to work, and I want to wait as long as possible to introduce the bottle. It's like weirdly making me sad to think about introducing a bottle because she's never had one. But it'll be a bottle of, you know, not necessarily pumped breast milk, but breast milk that I've collected through this little collecting device, which is amazing. It's just so amazing, like not having to haul my pump around and just feeding her from one side, collecting from the other, and that takes care of my oversupply issue and saves milk for later. So we will be introducing a bottle soon, and although it is sad, I'm kind of excited because that will mean I can get a little bit more sleep at night and let Brad give her a bottle for one of the feedings. And then what I would do is after one of the feedings, pump for a little bit, or just collect from the other side during both of the feedings. Actually, that would take care of it. I wouldn't even need to pump. So I'm looking forward to the little bit more sleep thing, but also very sad about introducing a bottle, weirdly. So she doesn't spit up very much. She will maybe have one time a day that she spits up more than just like a teaspoon. So like she'll have a little bit of spit up every now and again. So maybe like every other feed she'll have like maybe a half of a teaspoon of spit up, and then 1 or 2 times a day there'll be a couple of teaspoons. Not like Lyndall spit up quite a bit. Bear almost never spit up. It was really weird. And then all of a sudden when he was maybe 6 months old, he started to spit up for like a week and then stopped. And I asked my pediatrician about it, and he said maybe it was just like a virus or something. So another thing related to feeding is she has some calluses on her upper lip. She had some that were pretty serious calluses, like pretty impressive, and they fell off, and now it looks like she's starting to get some more, which is really common. So kind of along the same lines of feeding, she is maybe 50-50 on taking a passy, which is kind of frustrating because it makes it difficult for anybody else to soothe her besides me. Really, like if she took a passy, then if she's getting cranky or fussy, then whoever's holding her could just offer a passy, but she doesn't take it very often. But it seems like she almost always will take it in the car, at least for a short amount of time. So that's good because she doesn't particularly like her car seat, which I don't know any baby this age that really does until they fall asleep in the car. Are we focused here? Where are we? There we go. For the like health update, we have an appointment coming up in about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, that is gonna be not fun for us. And that's going to be the appointment where they do the testing on her kidney. They're gonna determine how much function they think it has, and also what's causing the hydronephrosis that she was diagnosed with in utero. So it's either reflux or a blockage. And so one of the tests will determine that, and the other one will determine like how much function her kidney has. And then we'll meet with the urologist after to determine what our plan is gonna be moving forward. So that's really all the news that we have on the kidney. And chromosomally, they were wanting to do like a chromosome analysis to see if she maybe had a genetic issue that was tying the kidney issue, I'm saying issue a lot, the kidney problem with a couple of other things she had going on, like a potential hearing problem. And then the one thing that like I hadn't mentioned, because I felt, although we live a very public life here on YouTube, it just seemed, I just didn't want to talk about it necessarily, but she had a skin tag and it seemed like it was right in line with one of her nipples. And so our pediatrician was wondering if maybe it was like a partial third nipple. And so that's something that can be related to genetic things. Doing the chromosome testing, but then that skin tag fell off. So that's likely not a third nipple. And she passed her in-depth hearing test. So that is awesome news, such a huge relief, a weight off of our shoulders for sure. Therefore, they don't necessarily want to do the chromosomal testing anymore, which is awesome. She, as you saw at the beginning of the video, is having reactive smiles. I don't know why this camera just keeps focusing. Do we have it on the wrong setting again? No, it's on autofocus. It just wants to focus on the dresser behind me. Whatever. It seems like lately she's started to develop a little bit of a preference to me, and I think that might just be because we spend so much time together. But like in church, she was restless the whole time my mom was holding her. She was restless, not crying, but just like couldn't get comfortable. And then as soon as she handed her to me, she fell right asleep. And so that could have just been that like she was actively awake and then happened to be falling asleep when she got handed to me. But the same thing has happened with Brad a few times where he thinks that she might be hungry or whatever, brings her to me because he can't get her to settle, and then as soon as I hold her, she falls asleep. And it's not from feeding, like I'm not feeding her, I'm just holding her and she falls right asleep. So kind of interesting. It's not like it always happens, but it's happened a few more times in the last couple of days that's making me wonder. Another thing that we haven't really discussed yet is cloth diapering. And when the babies are really little like this, cloth diapering is hard because the diapers that they need are so tiny that they don't absorb a whole lot, and so you have to change them really frequently. And it seems like when they're sleeping a lot, you're having to wake them up a lot to change their diaper. So definitely at night we use disposable diapers, and then I will use cloth diapers like when I'm at my parents' house and I'm not having to take care of the twins and her. As soon as she's about 10 pounds, she'll go into the type of cloth diapers that Bear and Lyndall are wearing, and that will be, it's just a lot easier of a system than some of the newborn cloth diapers that we have. So we'll be fully cloth diapering in another pound or so, which sounds funny. And it's also weird because looking at their cloth diapers, it's like, how in the world would that fit her? But they have snaps that put them down to the right size. So I think that's it. I wanted to have her in this video more, but she was wanting to be held in kind of a weird position and she just ate again. So it's not been it hasn't worked out very well for her to be in the video. But I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I see so much of myself as a baby in her. It's unbelievable. It's just so funny, like how everyone likes to analyze who a newborn baby looks like. I'm only seeing me as a baby, and I'll have to find some baby photos of myself so I can show you guys that. So if you have any specific questions, please leave them in the comments below. Look for the video coming soon of our nighttime with a newborn and twin toddlers. That will be fun, and we'll talk in depth about the snoo. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Bye.